That's enough for now. So I got that one right there.
What is that?
We'll have to speed. Girth hitch on figure 8. And then, since this is a smaller tree, I'm going to circle this twice. I'll go a lot lower then. Girth hitch. Go around. Double girth hitch. Should be about the same level. Okay, so like that, I got a crossbar. Good enough for government work, as Patrick says. Then you need pull. So I've got this space. It's a little high, I'll have to lower it a bit. But on that side, we're going to put a Mylar blanket down to the stake tied onto that. And then a Mylar blanket on this one, down as far as you can. And then your plastic's going to go over this side and down on the sides. You'll sleep under here, and you build a teeny tiny fire over there. The Mylar will reflect the heat back into this one, and because the sides are closed, it'll catch all the heat and get, because of the plastic, like a greenhouse effect. It'll warm up significantly in there. And then this channel allows the smoke to leave, like a teepee. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. All right, so there's other ways you can do it. If you can't find trees to lash to, you can make a bipod. I'm going to show you that, to stick these sticks on, to brace them up. But what we'll do off this tree is we'll do another one of these out this way, and with a bipod, and one off that way to bipod, and we'll make a 3-sided structure. Cool. And then what we'll do is we'll put Mylar on the back and plastic on the back. We're not going to do the individual smoke. We'll build a fire in the middle that 3 people can share. Because that way your plastic can come over and just drop straight down in front of you, just like we did at camp. Only instead of sleeping feet in, you just sleep parallel.
That sounds sweet.
It does sound super
I'm into it if there's other people in there with me.
Now, if I was by myself, I'd build the fire inside there. It's big enough to heat, but not big enough to melt your Mylar.
Sure.
And it actually takes quite a bit. You can get a pretty good fire going in there. I banked the dirt up and put it down so it's even farther from the Mylar, like down a foot. And I built a fire trench. And then after it's got some coals, it keeps that heat in there. And you could sleep in there just like this. It's really, really warm. But after 6 hours, it starts to get a little moist because of the greenhouse effect. And you'll definitely get a lot of condensation. But if it's the difference between being out with no shelter in 0 degrees versus 45 degrees, which is about how much difference you can make, it's worth building.
Right.
Does that make sense?
Couldn't you extend it out this way too and fit even more people?
You could, but the fire's only going to radiate so far. So you need a small, like at winter, we do kind of a big one.
Yeah.
But I build a gigantic fire.
Okay.
But since there's going to be probably 3 fires going tonight, I'd, for peace of mind, like to keep it kind of small.
Okay.
And then what we'll do is we'll get the other fires ready and burning slowly for the people to start warming up, and we'll kind of eat around one of them or hang out around one. Then when you go to bed, you can build your fire up in your little condo complex. And plenty of time. Want to see it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then everybody will get 2 of these. Because these don't come with grommets, and just put the trash in your pocket for now. And they're a pain in the butt to work with. You'll use your cord kit. With the little acorn or pine cone trick I showed you. Mm-hmm. And then we can double up on these and get them done. And this one will float back here. And because the sides will be open on this side, right, I'll lash it to this thing, and then it'll go down. The sides will be open. There'll be plenty of ventilation, so there's no risk of being asphyxiated, in case that crossed some of your minds.
It did.
It did? All right, let me see my...
I need that thing.
Since I have these side poles up, that one's not really helping much. I just put girth hitch around that pole. Find the corner of my mylar. If you're worried about it ripping, I mean, this stuff's pretty tough, stretch-wise. You could double it over, but you don't really need to. Put your little pine cone in the corner, gather it up, make a girth hitch in this end, and just slip it over that pine cone. Tighten it up. Now you've got a little grab. That one's going to have to be lashed. And then if we judge the distance right, yeah, we judged it pretty good. Then I find a way to tie this. Let's see. I can almost get it on that. There we go. That's good. And now I gotta stake the bottom down. Same thing with a little piece of string for my loop and some pine cones. And I set these up, the cord kit, so if you had no flashlight, you could tie this in the dark, or find your cord. Because I know I can find this one, and I know that that's three 6-foot shroud lines and 2 loops. Colors don't necessarily matter, but do however you want. Pine cone, pine cone. Oh, almost lost my pine cone. Here's my little reflector. So I'll build a hole right there, probably right here. Just imagine that's a fire.
You do that first before setting up the rest of it?
You can dig the hole first if you want, but there's plenty of room in here. Because I'll be sleeping, for instance, by myself, I'd be sleeping right here.
Okay, you drop the plastic down the other side?
Yeah, and then I'll do the mylar. It will be floating off of this, so it's kind of here, and then the plastic will come down over it. And since the plastic is 9 by 12, you'll do it lengthwise so it can drop down and form 2 doors. You'll get plenty of breeze coming through there, and that cold air being pulled in by the fire will push, and the hot air is rising. The cold air will keep coming in and pushing the smoke out. First usually pretty good. And this one has to be flown instead of pitched. You know the difference between flown and pitched? Everybody remember that?
Yep.
So when I pitch the tarp, it touches the ground. If you fly a tarp, it's not touching the ground. I'm going to show you the 2-side one, and then you can come in and lay down and try it. I'll even build a small fire for a little bit. But really, you don't even need this one. You just need that side, and you can use string too, or rope instead of the log. And then you just need the mylar and the plastic. And then tonight, when you go to sleep, you'll drop the plastic in front. You'll leave the 2 ends open for breeze. The radiant heat from the 3-way fire will roll in, hit the mylar and the plastic, and get trapped circulating in there. If you want it even warmer, you can close the ends up a little bit. It will get pretty moist in there pretty fast. So I like to ventilate it. It'll definitely be warmer than it was last night. Then we'll cut a ton of wood, and everybody can have some, so you just have to make sure the fire stays going. Just take turns. Ideally, in like a 3-way situation like that, you would just take turns like a couple hours at a time.
So are we building one in like teams? Of 3s?
Yeah, well, you'll each build, like this would be mine, and I put plastic, I'm done. Patrick would go there, Rendell would go here, and then the 3 of us would share one fire.
Okay.
Does that make sense? If I was out here by myself, I wouldn't build a giant fire to radiate in, because that's a waste of resources. Yeah. I would do this side and build my own fire inside and heat that small environment.
How do you keep the fire from burning through the mylar?
Well, I'm going to light one and show you. It's surprisingly resistant to, as long as the flames aren't touching it, or probably about 7 or 8 inches. And when I build the fire, I'll go down at about 6, 8 inches in the ground, so it's even lower. And it doesn't have to be big. You'll see. You could actually heat one of these with a candle. A couple candles will heat the space. This one I have to fly, though. built this by myself after reading Morris Kahansky's book, or one of his books in '92 or something. And that's how I came up with the idea for the big sleeping creche we use at winter camp ever since then. Because I thought, well, if this is good for me, why don't we just build a big one and we'll put like 2, 3, 4, 6 people in it. And then we started building those things. And they worked really well. If you've ever been to one of our winter camps. If you haven't, you should sign up. And since I want it to be that high, this high is about right there.
Why is it not a large sod, but it's a cow hitch?
Because it's at the end of a line instead of in the middle. You don't care for that, buddy? That distinction?
So a large sod is in the middle.
Girth hitch. Well, Lark's head is that formation.
Yeah, it's just the formation.
Yeah.
That's what I'm drawing.
If you use it as a hitch, it's either a girth hitch in the middle of a line or a loop with a bite, or if it's at the end of a line, it's a cow hitch. And then if you give a little twist, you make a bull hitch. I don't know if you want to start that. Take my Lark's head, slip it over there, tighten it up. Now it's a cow hitch, and then I just tie a little half hitch so it locks off, and then I've got that for my sheep bed.
So if we were doing this with someone else, you would not put this in.
Right, this is just going to be a single person's
Right.
super shelter. Actually, this is like a Dutch or German version of a super shelter. Morris Kohansky has an elevated bed. Inside there he makes with like 2 sticks and a bunch of little logs he cuts to stay off the ground.
Mm-hmm.
And then he seals the whole thing in like a half dome with a heavy duty space reflector behind it. Then the plastic. And then the fire out in front. But I've seen this version and I like it much better.
You do with the group you tie together with your structure.
Yep, so the group will just have that back half with the plastic dropping in front. We'll show you that next. That one's easy to understand once you've seen it.
Yep.
And you guys have, some of you have seen it a few times.
What are you doing down there by the stake?
Slipped figure 8 to make a loop. I don't know if you guys are interested in that. Good enough. And for now, we can just tuck it around that, and then you just tie it around that log, because we're gonna kind of redo this one anyway. Doesn't have to be perfect. This, if anyone's interested, is a shoelace knot.
That's the one I know.
That's
Know
your
that one.
that's your bread and butter. Now my cord kit's empty except for my ridge line, which I don't want to cut, and my accessory cords, which is fine. But at the back, you don't always have to stake or tie down with rope. You can just grab a weight or snow, which is usually when you'd be building this thing. There. Or if you wanted it more robust, you could roll it up. And then you're going to pull these in to the side to close off the side a bit. And then I just put sticks there or rocks. But you could, if you had more cord or time, or if you wanted just to stamp things in, you could close them off.
A little extra ventilation won't hurt anyways, necessarily, right?
Don't want that to get you. Okay. So even without a fire, if you guys want to come and lay in there, one at a time. Here, come check it out. Oh yeah. With a little fire going right there. You're out of the rain. It's a little windy, but not bad. I'm going to start a teeny tiny fire in here just to heat it up so you guys can see. Fire safety. I take more care, obviously prepping this, but we're just trying it for a minute. We're all going to watch it, so don't think I'm shortcutting on the fire prep. At least too much, yeah. Can I borrow some of Randy's awesome piles of birch bark? I know this is also on wet ground, but in a minute it'll warm up in here quite a bit.
Did you just bring a ground tarp in with you? Maybe
And you see where how the smoke's going? Huh?
Did you just bring like ground tarp, maybe a blanket?
Yeah, I would put down, well, if I had a blanket, I would use my ground pad and a wool blanket because wool smolders from like sparks. Obviously you're close, so wood selection is important. Keeping the fire about that big is important. But why don't you guys come in here one at a time, check that out. And then you just have a little pile of wood by you. And Emily, where are you at? You don't have to.
Let's take a good nap in here.
You don't have to crawl in that tent with the fire going.
It's nice.
I get the idea.
Yeah, and because of wind selection, we chose direction with the plastic. It's quite different in there already. Why?
I'm just gonna burn alive in my sleep.
All right, so you and Emily will do a different style. I'll help you guys.
I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it in a group of 3.
Yeah, you do the open.
Yeah, 'cause then
Is
would-
it keeping
yeah.
the smoke from your face,
It's a little
Sandy?
bigger.
You put the mylar. See,
Is the smoke staying from your face?
Duplicate
Staying
this
away.
plastic side on 3 sides, and you leave off the other side, and you just leave the fire open, and you drape your plastic up and over,
Right, so there's more open.
so it creates a greenhouse effect.